I love motivation, but what I love more than motivation is discipline
Hmm.
and consistency.
Hmm.
Because when I'm consistent and when I'm disciplined, I see the result of that consistency and discipline, and I get motivated in the moment to continue,
Hmm. Yeah.
as opposed to let me get some motivation to just get this one thing done, and then I'm spent because I went to a negative place to get it done.
Yeah. And then you're almost setting yourself back because you kind of don't like yourself that much afterwards, because you beat yourself up the whole way, you know?
Yeah.
Let's welcome back to the Dennison Download and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
I hope that you are enjoying a wonderful holiday with your friends, your family, or maybe just yourself. I don't know. But whatever you're doing, I hope that it's a great one.
Maybe there's a little turkey with you, though. Hopefully, a little bit,
I hope so. Some
wherever you are.
sides. What's your favorite Thanksgiving side?
My favorite is mashed potatoes.
Oh, it's a good one. Me too.
Yours?
It's always been mashed potatoes, but I like the mashed potatoes. You got to have a gravy core,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a gravy volcano.
Okay.
And then I like the turkey and the stuffing. Those three
Yeah.
classics. Oof, that's what makes a Thanksgiving for me.
I like to do a carb casserole where
Ooh.
I get you get the mashed potatoes, you get the stuffing, and then you get maybe a mac and cheese, and then
Mm,
you've got all three of those. Maybe even top that with a little bit of cranberry. Yes, I said cranberry. I don't know if you're
mm.
not a cranberry lover like me. That's okay. Um,
Can or fresh?
I am a can. I don't
I
like the
know. Why is the
fresh.
can so good?
I
I
don't.
want the
I don't.
ridges. I want the slices. So
It
good.
just. It's as the kids say. It slaps harder.
It really does. It slaps. I want me a can. Any other time of the year, I don't want canned cranberry sauce. But like if I do not have a can on Thanksgiving, it just doesn't make it. I don't know. Yeah.
Someone's going to the store.
Well, since it's Thanksgiving, we are grateful. We are super grateful, especially this year, because, it's been a tough year. And what are you grateful for this today on
Oh
Thanksgiving?
man, so many things. First and foremost, your health. The
Mm.
fact that you're here and you are as healthy as you ever been, staring back at me. That is a gift that I will take every single day.
Oh my gosh. I know. I'm really just grateful that we got here. It has been a long road, and I'm thankful for you, and I'm thankful for our team, and I'm thankful for just all the lessons that we learned this year. It's been a wild ride, huh?
Yeah, we could definitely write a book or two with all these lessons. Got some
Yeah,
lessons stacked in the corner here.
yeah. Or maybe start a podcast. I don't know.
Oh yeah, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did that this year. Yeah. Oh,
We're doing that
okay.
now.
Got it. Got it. So since it's Thanksgiving, which is, I gotta be honest, it's one of my favorite holidays. Don't get me wrong, I love me some Christmas, I love me some of my birthday, but I love Thanksgiving. And here's the reason why is because Thanksgiving is one of those holidays, right? That it always falls on a Thursday, so you're almost guaranteed to have a long weekend for the most part. Some years I didn't, depending on retail or where I worked, but um, you're almost guaranteed to have a long weekend. You're almost guaranteed to have a great meal, right? Depending on where you are. And it's usually with people that you love, right? Your friends, your family. And there's no pressure to go out and buy all these presents, right? Like I feel like sometimes Christmas, your birthday, there's like this pressure to perform, make sure you get the right present, make sure that you hit the deals, all this other stuff. I know there's Black Friday and stuff afterwards, but Thanksgiving is just showing up, cooking a meal, spending time with family, and just being really freaking grateful. And there's just something really magical about that for me.
Yeah, and if you add in the just the community aspect that
Mhm.
Thanksgiving typically comes in, because everybody's, typically making food all day long
Yeah.
that day, and you get a lot of great conversations. Now, those happen at other holidays as well, but typically for Thanksgiving, there's just a little bit more kind of thrown behind those dishes. At the Christmas, you might outsource some of the holiday food.
Mm.
You bring in different types of foods. Thanksgiving is typically a little bit more traditional in terms
Yeah.
of the way things go. And I've always enjoyed when individuals take those traditional recipes and they just put a little twist on it and make it their
Yeah.
own. That's always fun.
Yeah. What I love about the holiday is that it's all about being thankful, right? And so, sometimes Christmas, it's all like, oh, what am I going to get? Or what do I got to get? Or what do I have to wrap up the year with? Or whatever. But I just love the idea of a whole holiday spent around being thankful. I mean, at least that's what I get from it, or the original intention around it being for me. And so that's what we want to talk about today is gratitude, right? And gratitude has been a huge part of our life, especially recently, especially this year. And I did some research on gratitude last year around Thanksgiving and found out that it has some incredible research-based benefits.
Oh, I can't wait to hear.
I
I
know.
only know from the benefits that I've experienced myself because
Mhm.
there have been points in my life where I've instituted gratitude practice
Yeah.
to be able to really overcome some tough situations.
Yeah. So gratitude is something that you and I take very seriously. I think it's something that you and I practice, if not daily, hour by hour, sometimes minute by minute. And it really has had a huge impact on our life. But I thought for this episode, what would be really fun is not only just sharing some of those research backed benefits of gratitude for our listeners who either might already have a gratitude practice, might be thinking of a gratitude practice, might be doing this on their day to day, or maybe who don't and might be finding themselves in a rut, who might be today on Thanksgiving of all days, right? Either listening to this or who have just gone through Thanksgiving and might be thinking, hey, I've had a really crappy year. Maybe their year has really sucked, or maybe it's just been a neutral year, whatever. And they're looking for some transformation. What I have found in my life, and I'll speak for you just in a second because I've seen it, is a lot of our transformation stemmed from our gratitude. Um, I don't want to say it's a magic bullet. It's not that. We've done a lot of work for our transformation, but I think gratitude and being grateful has been a key linchpin for most of our transformation. And so, I mean, I have 30 different benefits of gratitude right now on a document that shows how powerful it is. So I'm really excited about this episode. I really think, in fact, I'm grateful for it.
Hmm.
No, okay. But I am really grateful for it. I'm really excited about it. And I think that it is something that doesn't take a lot of time for people. And as you practice it, it becomes easier and easier and easier and easier and easier to do. And the benefits are incredibly beneficial. What do you think?
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. Gratitude has pulled me out of some very, very deep, twisted kind of thought patterns,
Mhm.
and really, it's kind of that spark, if you will, that allows the catalyst of change, because it allows you to shift perspectives very quickly. Very, very, very important topic, but also one of my favorites because it really has helped me personally.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to do something fun. I want to do, well, it might be fun. I think it's fun for us.
What's that?
I want to do the GQ 6 scale. It's a little mini questionnaire. It's literally called the Gratitude Questionnaire. It was developed in 2002 by Mikola Emmons and Sang. And it's literally the most frequently used assessment for gratitude. It's 6 questions. I figure since it's so short, it's 6 questions. You and I could do it together on this podcast live. We will explain it very slowly and easily so that you can do it along with us if you want. And it's literally just an assessment of how grateful you are, right, in your day to day life. What's really great about this is when we were kind of researching this again this year, this week, we found that this self reported questionnaire measures your tendency to recognize, respond, and experience gratitude. And it also measures the intensity, frequency, span, and density of gratitude as an emotion. So, all of this is really just a self-assessment, self-reflection. I'm not going to know your scores, people who are listening. If you decide to do this, I'm not even going to know if you decide to do it or not. So take it or leave it. So Jack, for us, you and I, since we're going to do it, the gratitude questionnaire 6-item form, or the GQ6, is going to use a Likert scale. For those of you who don't know what a Likert scale is, it is a scale from 1 to 7, where 1 is strongly disagree, 7 is strongly agree. And the scale goes 1, strongly agree, 2, disagree, 3, slightly disagree, 4 is neutral, 5 is slightly agree, 6 is agree, and 7 is strongly agree. Now, 2 of these 6 questions are going to be reverse scored, so I will give you instructions for scoring later after we go through this. But let's go ahead and go through the questions. So, number 1, I have so much in my life to be thankful for. Again, we're going to rate that 1 strongly agree all the way to 7, or I'm sorry, 1 strongly disagree all the way to 7 strongly agree. And that's
I guess I should take some notes here.
Number 1.
Keep track of my score.
Is I have so much in life to be thankful for. You got your answer?
I got my answer.
All right, cool. Number 2 is if I had to list everything I felt grateful for, it would be a very long list.
Okay.
Number 3, when I look at the world, I don't see much to be grateful for. Again, this is 1 strongly disagree to 7 strongly agree. Again, when I look at the world, I don't see much to be grateful for.
I feel there's a trick in here somewhere.
That one is going to be one that is reverse scored. Okay. 4, I am grateful to a wide variety of people. 5, as I get older, I find myself more able to appreciate the people, events, and situations that have been part of my life history. 6, and this is the last reverse scored one. Long amounts of time can go by before I feel grateful to something or someone. Okay, so I want you to look at your scores. For number 3 and number 6, it's going to be reverse scored. So for instance, number 3, when I look at the world, I don't see much to be grateful for. If you scored a 1, I strongly disagree, you're actually going to give yourself 7 points. If you scored yourself a 2, I disagree, you're actually going to give yourself 6 points. 3, you're going to give yourself 5 points, and a 4, you're going to say the same and reverse that the same way. Number 6 is going to be the same way. Okay, so flip it around. So go ahead and do that now, and then add up your total points.
I think I broke this assessment.
Did you? What happened?
What does a perfect score mean?
Did you get a perfect score?
Yes.
Okay, that's amazing. So you got 42.
Yeah.
So you got all 7s or 1s for the reverse ones for everything. Okay, great. That means that you are an extremely grateful person. Now, I got a 39. That's still pretty good, right? So that means that I'm fairly grateful, right? So I feel pretty good about that. And you should still feel, you should feel great, right? Do you feel grateful for your score?
I mean, no, it's just a score, but yeah, I guess just appreciative of being able to be here and knowing and sharing. That's it.
Yeah. So I feel good about those scores because you and I have been in a rock solid gratitude practice for probably 2 to 3 years now. We started in 2020 at the least.
Consistently since we've been together, yes, but before you even met me, I've been doing this.
Yeah. So that would make sense that you would have a 42, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it would make sense that I have a 39 because I've been in a consistent gratitude practice for at least 3 years, but some days are some days, right? So I would love for you, listener, to just figure out where you are, right? And there's no judgment. You don't need to be at a 39 or a 42. You can be in the 20s or the low 30s or wherever you are on this scale.
You could be at a 6, and that's okay.
You can be at a 6, and that's okay. The reason is just to kind of give you an eye-opening look at to where you fall on the gratitude scale. right? So I hope that was a little eye-opening. What I love about that, Jack, is it kind of gave me a little bit of an eye-opening look too of some areas, right, where I didn't rate a perfect 7 or a perfect 1 that I could maybe work on, right? So I would love to kind of go into some of the benefits of gratitude that we have found with it comes to research, and maybe we can do that after the break. But I'd love to hear um, before we kind of go in, since we're talking about our gratitude practice, what is a gratitude practice that you do um, or that we do that we can kind of share? And then we'll kind of go into why and some benefits and some stuff that our listeners can pick up after the break. If you're ready for a transformation and you're not sure where to start, we suggest looking at where your money comes from. Your career funds the rest of your life. If you're feeling burnt out, unfulfilled, stagnant, or unfulfilled in your career, that can easily start to bleed over to the rest of your life. Most high achievers and leaders are great at what they do, but when it comes to finding that next level or a company that aligns with their values, attempting a job search can be frustrating at least and demoralizing at most. The traditional job search of submitting your resume to job boards only yields about a 2% ROI when it comes to interviews, and it can leave job seekers feeling anxious, rejected, and with feelings of imposter syndrome and low self-worth. At Optimized Career Solutions, we want to help transform your job search. We help by giving you the branding on your resume and LinkedIn profile that sets you apart as the industry leader or professional you are. But we don't stop there. We give you the proven strategies that empower you to be the leader you are in your career within your job search by getting directly connected to decision makers and teaching you how to tell your impactful story to leaders at companies you're excited to work with. Book your free consultation either with myself or Jack at getstarted.optimizedcareersolutions.com. On this free call, we will dive deeper into your career goals with you and show you how we can support you in achieving them without the frustration and rejection most job seekers feel. We're going to also help you transform your mindset and gain invaluable skills that you'll use throughout the rest of your career. The first step to the next chapter in your career is just a couple clicks away. Book your free consultation with us now at getstarted.optimizedcareersolutions.com.
All right. I've got two.
Okay, go for it.
So the first one that I actually teach our clients, it's really just writing 3 things down every day that you're grateful for at some point throughout that day. I typically like to do this in the first half of the day, even in the morning, if possible, because it's always good to have those reminders as you go throughout the day of things that you're grateful for. Really, from the starting point of doing this, we start very small. Really just small things that you're grateful for, because really the practice of gratitude, it's practice. We're not necessarily going to feel it right away and be able to be grateful for all these big things. So just being grateful for the home that you live in, being grateful for the ability to have a hot meal at the end of the day, being able to be grateful that you're not exposed to the elements in the winter, those types of things. Really just anything that you can point to in life that you feel makes you feel whole, centered, aligned, that is really what you want to be grateful for. Then as we start working on these things, we can start going to bigger ideas. We can start becoming grateful for people. We can become grateful for things we have in our life. We can become grateful for processes we're working on. We can become grateful for so many different things. For instance, I might not like the results of, certain things that might pop up, but I can be grateful for the opportunity just to have that experience, right? I might not like the turnout of potential exam that I've got to take for a certification, right? But the fact that I get to study, that I get to be a better version of myself and I get to grow, I can be grateful for that, right?
Yeah.
And I've noticed that when our clients really instantiate this and with their job search, they're able to better handle the ups and downs of the roller coaster ride a lot easier.
Mm.
Now, the other gratitude practice that I do also is in a form of meditation, where I express gratitude for a couple of things. And it's also happens to be 3. But I express gratitude to usually 2 very small things, 2 very things that most people wouldn't necessarily see. Grateful for the coffee that I have in the morning, grateful for my pet that I have over here. But then the third one is usually something very big. It's usually being grateful for something very moving, and you want it to be very powerful, and you want to feel that gratitude, because if you can actually feel that feeling, then that actually shoots out to the rest of the people in the universe. And it what a thought that I wanted to share with everybody, it's quantum entanglement. It's the
Mm.
idea that two cells or two particles that once upon a time were in a similar place can be completely different opposites, completely different shapes, forms, and still be quantumly entangled in our universe. And this is when people talk about synchronicity, talk about the changing of consciousness, those types of things. That's where this comes from. It's a collective. We're all working together to change the entire universe moving forward.
So in that meditative practice, what you do is you start out your gratitude practice in that meditation, being grateful for two things that are tangible, little here, and then with the, you kind of lost me on here, so I'm trying to get some sense here. With the quantum entanglement thing, you try and think of a much bigger collective thing that you're grateful for that might encompass something larger than yourself, like a community, um, whatever, and you try and send energy out to that, so that potentially clients that you've connected with in the past, people, etc., that maybe you've connected with in the past might be able to feel that and get the benefits of that as well. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, even
Okay.
current clients, maybe family members who necessarily
Mm.
need it, people who are going through a tough time, those types of things. Like, we can send out that love, that gratitude, that feeling through that meditation to all those individuals, and share that feeling with all those people,
Mm.
and that allows us to kind of connect with them on a whole nother level.
Okay, I love that. So that's like level 2.0 of gratitude, right? It's like feeling that energy and feeling that feeling and sending it out,
Yeah,
right?
I probably should have saved that one for the sequel.
That's okay. That's okay. I love it. I really do love it. So yeah, those are some really great, one, that's the gratitude practices that you're doing every day. And I didn't even know about that. So that's kind of cool. And two, those are some really great practices that people can do immediately and start, right? Write three things down, either at the beginning of your day with your cup of coffee, at the end of your day before you're going to bed. Or if you already have a meditation practice and maybe you're not including meditation in it, maybe thinking of three things and potentially having two smaller things, right? If you need to kickstart your gratitude, maybe you're groggy or falling asleep, and then having something a little bit larger. I really like that. So for me, my gratitude, I started out really when I was partnered with someone else, and he was doing 3 goals and 3 gratitudes a day. And I really liked that because for me, I like rituals, I like routines. My brain feels very soothed when I'm in a routine. And so having a 3 goals, 3 gratitude practice at the beginning to get me into a gratitude practice really worked well for my achievement type brain. And then as I started getting into it, I started infusing gratitude into other places in my life. For instance, at the time, I was also losing weight because I was changing my lifestyle around a little bit. And I was looking in the mirror and I realized that the words that I was saying to myself, right, my thoughts were not kind when I was losing weight, because instead of losing weight and loving myself more, which I thought was going to happen, I started just finding more ways to hate myself. And so I wanted to really disrupt that thought pattern. And so instead, what I did was for every time one of those negative thoughts came up, I would replace it with uh, things that I were grateful for about my body, right? So I would look in the
Mhm.
mirror and I would say, well, I'm grateful for my hair. I really like my hair today. Or I'm really grateful that I have really long eyelashes, or that my eyebrows look pretty, or that, whatever it is, right? Um, and so that became, the more I did that, it almost became a habit, right? So whenever I would have a negative thought about almost anything, it was a quick habit to replace it with a gratitude practice instead. And that was a good way to start reprogramming my brain and my thought patterns from a negative uh, track to a more positive and gratitude type track. And then the other thing that we do in our house, which I'm glad you saved it for me because this is my favorite thing, is the God box or the universe portal, or however you want to say it, whatever works for you in your house if you want to implement this practice. But we have at the end of our hallway, so for those of you who are not familiar with our setup, we have a small little 3-bedroom house, and at the end of our hallway on either side is 2 of the rooms, and those are our offices. It creates this tiny little alcove, and what we did is we put a box at the end of our hallway. And growing up, I used to have a little box that was called a blessing box, and I really liked that. I really liked that idea. And then I had a friend tell me recently about a God box. And what this God box was is that you would put your worries in this box and you would kind of like deliver it to God, and then you would stop worrying about it. And I liked both concepts because if I'm talking to the universe or if I'm talking to God or whatever, I don't want to just leave my worries and make him, a complaint box, right? But I also didn't want to not leave my worries or turn that over because so what we put in this box is we write down worries. If we have any worries that are going on, we put it in the box, get it off our mind. But I also put my gratitudes in there. So whenever something happens, immediately I write it down and I put it in the box. So whenever I'm grateful for you or grateful for my team, or if something happened that day that was really exciting, I write it down on a little post-it note with the pen and the post-it notes that we have on the box, and we just stick it in the little slot on the box, and the box is locked. And then at the end of the year, what we're going to be doing is on New Year's Eve, we're going to open the box and we're going to just read over all the things that we're grateful for from this year. Why we like it in the end of the hall is we always pass it. We're always in and out of the office. So it's a constant visual reminder, one, to be grateful, and two, to write something in and put it in the box. So that's a practice that we have as well. Yeah.
I love that we started that.
I know, me too. It's fun. And it's cute. It's a fun little thing that we can do at the end of the year too, a little tradition,
You know what's really interesting? Something that you talked about there, I just want to touch on. We can all practice gratitude in so many areas of our life, but we might not practice in all areas of our life. And while I might have started gratitude prior, I didn't allow it and give that grace to all areas of my life. And it wasn't until I saw you actually start that for yourself while you were on your weight loss journey that I actually started doing that for myself and my body as I've gone through my own transformations, because I'm big on working out, but I always used to look at it as, I'm doing this to be better. I'm doing this to get a version of myself down the road that I don't have right now. And I always looked at myself as lacking in that moment. Not big enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not good enough. And after watching you go through that, my entire idea on how I talked about my body changed, because all of a sudden I realized that I was also viewing my body through lenses of lack or lenses of not being good enough, and carrying those judgments forward. And watching you do that, it was almost like I was doing it in every other area of my life, but I wasn't granting the grace and gratitude towards myself. Does that ever happen to anybody?
Yeah.
Because I was the last person that I was giving the gratitude to. And me starting that completely changed how I showed up for myself. I mean, you can attest to it. The last 10 months, my relationship with my body has not been one of trying to get to some perfect version of myself. It's been one of just appreciating the fact that I get to move in a way that I feel good about myself. And that's it.
Yeah. It's interesting. You and I have had these conversations about, manifestation, about abundance, about all of these things, about going after our goals. And I think what we really honed in on this year was that when it comes to manifestation, it comes first with visualizing what it is that you want, right? What is it that we want to go out and do, receive abundantly, make an impact, do for our clients, want for ourselves, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's that. Then, that's the first part, visualizing it, making it so crystal clear that it becomes so ingrained in our subconscious. The second part is that once it's so ingrained in our subconscious, it becomes almost reality, where that every action that you take is towards that, because it's in our subconscious, right? Because we're living, breathing, eating, walking, acting in that accord. But most people stop right there. I think the third and the most key important part about manifesting the life of your dreams is being so freaking grateful for what you have right now. Because if you aren't grateful for what you have right now, you're acting in a mindset of lack, of just like you said with working out, right? If you're working out and the whole time you're beating yourself up of, I'm not enough, I don't have enough, I'm not, you're working against yourself the whole time, right? But if you are saying, I am enough, this is enough, I am great, but I can be just a little bit better, let's do this together, it's a whole different ball game, right?
Yeah, it's basically getting flies with honey as opposed to vinegar,
Yeah.
because you're pulling your ego, you're pulling your subconscious along with you on this journey, and it's a lot easier to pull your subconscious and your ego when it's feeling good about itself.
Yeah.
It's not so fun to show up when you're beating yourself up and you're telling yourself a story of lack or that you're not good enough, because while it might be good for one, maybe two instances of me versus the world, eventually that motivation in that moment's going to run out. And
Yeah.
what people don't realize is that I love motivation, but what I love more than motivation is discipline
Mhm.
and consistency.
Mhm.
Because when I'm consistent and when I'm disciplined, I see the results of that consistency and discipline, and I get motivated in the moment to continue,
Mhm. Yeah.
as opposed to let me get some motivation to just get this one thing done, and then I'm spent because I went to a negative place to get it done.
Yeah, and then you're almost setting yourself back because you kinda don't like yourself that much afterwards, because you beat yourself up the whole way, you know?
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break, and then I wanna come back, and to be cognizant of time, I wanna go through some of the benefits of gratitude that are research-based, um, because it is so transformative. But let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. If you're ready for a transformation and you're not sure where to start, we suggest looking at where your money comes from. Your career funds the rest of your life. If you're feeling burnt out, unfulfilled, stagnant, or unfulfilled in your career, that can easily bleed over to the rest of your life. Most high achievers and leaders are great at what they do, but when it comes to finding that next level or a company that aligns with their values, attempting a job search can be frustrating at least and demoralizing at most. The traditional job search of submitting your resume to job boards only yields about a 2% ROI when it comes to interviews, and it can leave job seekers feeling anxious, rejected, and with feelings of imposter syndrome and low self worth. At Optimized Career Solutions, we want to help transform your job search. We help by giving you the branding on your resume and LinkedIn profile that sets you apart as the industry leader or professional you are. But we don't stop there. We give you the proven strategies that empower you to be the leader you are in your career within your job search by getting directly connected to decision makers and teaching you how to tell your impactful story to leaders at companies you're excited to work with. Book your free consultation either with myself or Jack at getstarted.optimizecareersolutions.com. On this free call, we're going to dive deeper into your career goals, show you how we can support you in achieving them without the frustration and rejection most job seekers feel, and help you transform your mindset and gain invaluable skills you'll use throughout the rest of your career. The first step to the next chapter of your career is just a couple clicks away. Book your free consultation with us now at getstarted.optimizecareersolutions.com. All right, welcome back. So, when we were researching the benefits of gratitude, what was really interesting is that there is a piece from positivepsychology.com that split the benefits into 5 different groups. And I thought this was really kind of cool. The 5 different groups were emotional benefits, social benefits, personality benefits, career benefits, and health benefits. Which do you want to tackle first?
Well, let's talk about health benefits.
Okay. So, uh, health benefits are fascinating. So, a study in 2005, and I'm going to try and go through these pretty quickly. And then I'll let you take some of the other ones, like the the ones that you found like emotional and things like that. But the physical health benefits. Okay, a study in 2005 showed that gratitude actually reduced depression in participants by 35% over several weeks by practicing gratitude journaling. That's a huge decrease.
35%.
Yeah,
Wow.
isn't that wild? Another one with blood pressure. So those of you who are feeling a little bit pressure, hypertension, patients, and this is a study from 1977, but there's a follow-up one from, I believe, 2006. Uh, those with hypertension who counted their blessings or were grateful at least once a week experience a significant decrease in blood pressure, resulting in better overall health. That's pretty awesome. Improving your sleep. I don't know anyone who doesn't need more sleep. 2-week gratitude intervention in a study in 2016 increased sleep quality and reduced blood pressure in participants, leading to enhanced well-being. So if you're having trouble sleeping or waking up feeling fatigued, try gratitude journaling right before bed. It also shows that you are able to improve your overall physical health and potentially your frequency of exercise. And it can help in recovery. So in 2017, there was a research study that showed that researchers and addiction programs alike have noticed that gratitude can play a key role in recovering from substance misuse or abuse, as well as it can enhance recovery from coronary health events. So that in this study, it showed that Harvard Medical School and Massachusetts General Hospital found that acute coronary syndrome patients experience greater improvements in health-related quality of life. And then also it talks about depression. There was another study that also talks about a specific woman with depression, revealed that Buddhist teachings and with a strong emphasis in gratitude helped her to heal her depression. So those are some of the health benefits, which were, I mean, incredible in and of itself. Yeah.
That is crazy. And the fact that I saw you had mentioned about the aspects on the heart recovery, that's got to do something with the nervous system and really probably has something to do with gratitude just affecting the nervous system and kind of giving like a almost like a tranquility shot to the nervous system.
Well, speaking of, let's talk about the gratitude and the emotional benefits, right? So, in a study in 2005, this is actually by the same people who did the EQ6 quiz that we did at the beginning. Simply journaling for 5 minutes a day about what we're grateful for can enhance our long-term happiness by over 10%. Long term. And there was another study in another journal. Let me scroll. Talks about how there was this whole study they did where they had people write gratitude letters, right? And this is from Greater Good in Berkeley, I believe, did the study where they wrote about negative experiences, right? This group of people, and half the group received counseling, and half the group wrote gratitude letters after writing about the negative experiences, is what I believe happened. And what they found were four really incredible things, right? Gratitude unshackles us from toxic emotions. The people who wrote about the negative things and didn't write about the positive stuff had a lot more toxic emotions, the ones who didn't write about gratitude. And then the other ones who did were able to release ruminations about negative experiences. What they also found is that it helps even if you don't share the letters with the people that you wrote to, right? So you could just write a letter to the person that you're grateful for without even sharing it to. But I mean, it feels nice when you share it, right? It also has lasting effects on the brain, right? So the people who wrote the gratitude letters had an MRI on their brain 3 months after
Hmm.
the study, and it found that it had lasting effects on the brain after the effect, right? So the activation, it showed greater activation in the medial prefrontal cortex when
Huh.
they experienced gratitude. So I thought that was really, really fascinating too. So they only did this study for 12 weeks, and then 12 weeks later did the MRI, and there was still benefits. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That medial cortex is where the learning happens.
Mm-hmm.
So that shows that by doing the gratitude practice, they're actually parts of the brain are firing that learned this behavior.
Mm-hmm. You want to know what else is kind of cool about the emotional benefits is that it has also shown, this is a study in 2014, it reduces envy.
I
Gratitude
could see
reduces
that.
envy. And I could see that too, because the more I was grateful for things that I liked about myself, the less I cared about other people, right? The less I was jealous about other people, the less I compared myself to other people. And the next thing is that it reports greater life satisfaction and self-esteem. I
Hmm.
would say my confidence has also gone up.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. It also decreases depression, like we talked about, and suicidal ideation,
Hmm.
which is a huge thing. Do you have this document up? Do you want to go over some of the social benefits?
Yeah, I have it up as well. And I mean, the social benefits are huge. I mean, it shows that people who practice gratitude tend to have people liking them more,
Mhm.
and they have a greater access to a wider social network, more friends. And this is just because of the effect that being grateful has on being trustworthy and being appreciative of how others see us.
Mhm.
People want to be around people who are appreciative of things.
Yeah.
I could also see that with the next one, talking about the romantic relationships, the fact that you are grateful and you're showing gratitude to loved ones, and you're picking out the things that you really appreciate,
Mhm.
regardless of whether you're sharing it with your spouse or not. I
Mhm.
mean, that's only going to make you lean harder in, right? Because you're seeing more of the things that make you feel good and that you appreciate, as opposed to picking out the things that need to be worked on. And
Yeah.
I could, going a step further, I mean, talking about friendship, social support, right? People are going to get behind you more when they see the fact that you're an individual who really cares about others, that also wants to practice this and uplift others, and you're always trying to see the good in things. People are going to get behind you. They're not going to
Mhm.
be adverse or against you when those types of things. It's also going to help you in times of stress, because
Mhm.
things are going to happen in life.
Mhm.
Bad things are going to happen. We can't control that, but we can control how we react to those things. And that's that famous quote by Gandhi, really, that where he talks about you can be the change you want to see in the world, and you can only control your thoughts and emotions as to something when something happens. And I mean, it's also going to have effects on who you are as a person. It's going to
Yeah.
make you more optimistic. You're not going to be as pessimistic when you're focusing on the positives or the things that you're grateful for, as opposed to the negatives.
Mhm.
And
That's kind of cool too. A 5 to 15% increase in optimism. That's so cool.
and it's funny that they say that, but what are we reducing when we're focusing on gratitude? We're reducing negatives.
Yeah. Negativity.
And one of the biggest ways, and probably going to be a future episode, is ways to increase positivity. It's really just reducing the negative
Yeah.
output.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could keep going, but the one of the things that I noticed most on this list, it's reduced materialism,
Mhm.
enhanced optimism, and makes us more giving. I think the world needs more of that right now. I
Mhm.
think really, if we can be more giving, if we can be able to view things from others' perspectives, it's going to make things a lot smoother as we go ahead and progress in our future.
Mhm.
Um, there are just so many benefits to this
Mhm.
gratitude practice.
I want to quickly just go over the career benefits and then we'll just wrap it up. I know we're a little longer today, but I think this is important.
But we love this
We
topic.
love this. We're grateful for it. So when it comes to career benefits, gratitude makes us more effective leaders. The gratitude research has shown that practicing gratitude enhances managerial skills, enhances praise giving, motivating abilities. It reduces impatience, improves decision making, meaning that you'll be less impatient during economic decision making, leading to better decisions and less pressure for the desire for short term gratification. Helps us to find meaning in our work. The study from 2015 shows that those who find meaning and purpose in their work are often more effective and more fulfilled throughout their career. Gratitude is one factor that can help people find meaning in their job. It contributes to reduced turnover. Research has found that gratitude and respect in the workplace can help employees feel embedded in their organization, which means that they're welcomed and valued, and it improves work-related mental health and reduces stress. So, what we're finding over here is that when you are in a practice of gratitude, not only does it show others that you're a more, it seems, well-rounded, healthier, positive, optimistic um, person, but it actually gives you health and career benefits too, right? It makes you a better leader. It helps you feel more fulfilled, not only in your life, in your relationships, in your marriage, in your family dynamics, but in your work dynamics as well. And from what we've noticed in our lives, it's changed not only our relationship to each other, our relationships to our team members, to our clients, and with ourselves in our thought patterns, right? Our relationship to ourselves, how we see ourselves, our thought patterns. Um, and it overwhelmingly has, in my opinion, these things given me these things. It has made me more optimistic. It has made me more confident. It has decreased my depressive symptoms and thought patterns. I feel it has made me a better leader. I have gotten more sleep because it's decreased my anxiety. Um, do you feel like some of these benefits for you, Jack, have portrayed?
Yeah, I think for me, really allowed me to work on a lot of different areas in terms of, for one, reduced materialism. I was always one who always needed that shiny new thing, right? Just see that another piece of equipment, that new apparel. Oh my God, it's a sign for how others view me. So I need to have the newest thing. And I noticed that when I really do practice my gratitude, I don't have a need for really anything. My materialism reduces to very minimal, if any. The other thing is, it does make me more giving. It makes me being willing to just throw that ridiculous tip when we go out there on a date night for that server,
I
or
love
when we're
that.
just going to get coffee and we surprise the young person who's working the cash register at the coffee place with a very nice tip for somebody who's just picking up 2 cups of coffee.
Right.
But also, really, the biggest things that I've noticed, it's how I view myself, my own self-esteem, but my own psychological well-being, the thoughts and the environment, and the tracks that play in my head
Mhm.
daily. That has completely changed, where now it's a supportive environment. It's not one coming from lack or feeling that I'm behind the 8 ball, or I need to do something, or I'm a failure. It's now a collaborative type of environment in my head through my thoughts, actions, and it's just so much more enjoyable to be myself on the daily when I'm practicing gratitude.
Yeah, it really is. So we would love to hear from you either on our Facebook page, which is the Dennison Download Podcast. Go ahead and like and follow us on Facebook, or on Instagram, which is the Dennison Download on Instagram. Or we even have an email. It's the Dennison Download at gmail.com. Tell us, have you listened to our previous episodes rather, or this episode? How has gratitude affected your life? Drop a comment on either of those. We would love a 5-star review, especially on Apple or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, or a comment on YouTube. If you're watching us, say hey, and give us a quick shout out. Love to hear what you're grateful for this year for Thanksgiving or for 2022 in general. And from our family to yours, happy Thanksgiving and have a great rest of your week.
Happy Thanksgiving.